Berlin, capital of Germany in the center of Europe. One of the most fascinating cities in the world.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Today, a city for trailblazers. A creative center for the economy, science and media. A political center and a cultural nucleus. Cosmopolitan, still filled with the pioneering spirit even 2 decades after the fall of the wall. The future, it will be defined inside the big cities the world over. More than half the world's population lives there today. In 2050, it will be more than 70%. Berlin, the city of short hops, condensed and compact, urbane and with excellent quality of life.
Berlin wächst.
Berlin is growing. By the year 2030, the population of this exciting metropolis will have grown by 250,000. This also poses new challenges for city planning. Environmental policy is a high priority. By 2050, Berlin hopes to be a climate-neutral city. We will focus more on renewable energy while intelligently networking existing resources and competencies. Berlin strives to become the smart city of Europe.
Urban development is a complex challenge. Climate change and demographic studies have to be considered for the upcoming decades. And many different interests must be harmonized. Opposing interests have to be reconciled. Perhaps someone doesn't want a playground or a pub in front of their door. Or maybe they want exactly that. Open spaces and planted areas are important as public recreation areas and for the inner city climate. But they are also of high value as land for apartments and business complexes. Urban motorways are essential, but no one wants to live next to one.
More and more people in this growing city need new, affordable housing. We want a Berlin where there is solidarity. Everyone should be able to find good educational opportunities, a job to earn a living, but also affordable housing. Berlin is growing, and that means Berlin will continue to build.
4 projects demonstrate both the diversity and the quality of Berlin's urban development.
In Europa City,
a new and vibrant urban quarter will come about by 2025. The focus here is also on living and working, but in an exciting mix with an existing cultural location and in direct proximity to the government district. This is another example of the new Berlin that is emerging for all Berliners.
Opposite the north face of Berlin's main railway station, directly behind the government district, 40 hectares of land, the Heide district. Dominated by a container terminal and dull storehouses, it lies by railroad sidings and the Berlin-Spandau shipping lane. Already well known internationally, the Hamburger Bahnhof Art Museum with its attendant galleries. These cultural surroundings are an important inspiration for the district's development. It's under construction. The plan, an entirely new district for living, work, business and leisure. A district for the future, with Berlin's typical mixed-use design. Investors, owners, planners, and the city of Berlin, all of them are acting in concert to align public infrastructure with private projects. Only in this way can a new urban quarter be created which harmonizes life and work. Town planning contracts secure the participation of private investors in the cost of streets, public parks, promenades, bridges, schools and kindergartens. On site, it's hard to imagine how it will look. The Heidestrasse, along with the planned waterside promenade, will become a central north-south link. It will be a water and tree-lined boulevard with not a little artistic flair. To the north, an urban square will be built, which will become the vital public open space of Europa City, a place to meet. Large open spaces and water both make this a comfortable and attractive district. A promenade will run alongside the canal. For the buildings of Europa City, a high design standard must be met. More than 2,000 apartments will be built here, along with 400,000 square meters of space for offices, retail trade, restaurants, and cultural facilities, complemented by a new and attractive infrastructure of cycle paths and reduced traffic zones. The construction of the first apartment houses and office buildings will start in early 2014. Good cooperation between all planning participants has made the realization of this complex project possible in so little time. Its immediate proximity to the main railway station, Berlin's key gateway, makes this future district even more attractive. The combination of living, work, culture, and leisure will allow this vital area to bloom.
With the Gleisdreieck Park, Berliners ultimately designed their own park. Residents, as well as sports and recreational enthusiasts, engaged in a sustained dialogue and made decisions together. The Gleisdreieck Park is already an integral part of our cityscape and has won many friends. For me, it is a participatory process that has set new standards.
The park at Gleisdreieck, a new oasis for recreation in Berlin. A place with a moving and fascinating history. Trespassing was strictly prohibited. Then, at the end of the 70s, a citizens' initiative rediscovered the area. Due to its seclusion over the years, the area had developed a unique charm. The fall of the wall changed everything. Suddenly, in the middle of the city, a huge open space emerged, beside two of Europe's formerly most exciting squares, Potsdamer Platz and Leipziger Platz. The park's design, by Atelier Leudel, winner of a competition, accommodates the visions of the several parties involved, in particular, those of the citizens. The Senate Department for Urban Development and the Environment had carried out an exemplary participation process over several years. Diverse interested parties, including sports clubs, parishes, and senior citizens, were involved. Thousands of people joined guided tours over the area. Design plans were discussed in public, and citizens seized the opportunity. As a result, the park has become just what people wanted it to be. We can do sports here together, jog, play basketball. It's a wonderful achievement. One can cycle, walk, skate. It's a colorful mix here. You can meet residents from all different backgrounds. When the park is finished at Gleisdreieck, Berlin's north-south greenbelt will be complete. Truly a green oasis in the city, as was envisaged in the competition outline. The park is for the people who are there to use it. At Gleisdreieck, there is enough space for private and public life to coexist. It's a place of multiple spaces, allotments at the edges, extensive sports grounds, playgrounds, and areas for refreshment. Here, one can go for a walk far from the daily cares of the city, or simply just do nothing at all. A reminder of the old Gleisdreieck, a piece of wilderness with historical relics, has been preserved. A space for nature activities has been created too. The park is what people make of it. A public park in the best sense, and a good example of cooperation between Berlin and its citizens.
The open space at the heart of Tempelhofer Feld, 230 hectares in size, is bigger than the Tiergarten, and it is literally a huge enrichment for all of Berlin. That is precisely why we want to preserve this open space for games, sports, fun, and recreational activities. But in our city, we also need new and affordable housing. The city is growing, and it is attracting more people who are looking for new apartments. That's why we've reached an agreement with 2 municipal housing associations and 1 housing cooperative. Along the edge of Tempelhofer Feld, we will build up to 1,700 apartments, in particular for lower to mid-range earners. Fun and games, leisure and recreation, but also employment and housing for all Berliners. That is the future of Tempelhofer Feld.
Tempelhofer Feld is the biggest open space in the heart of Berlin. Not so long ago, planes took off and landed here. Tempelhof was one of Berlin's 3 main airports. Aeronautical history was written here. The airlift secured the survival of West Berlin after the war, and also the city's independence.
Ihr Völker der Welt, ihr Völker in Amerika.
The historic and now listed main building has become a spectacular event location. The well-known bread and butter fashion fair takes place inside. It's also a popular spot for exhibitions and congresses, for international specialized fairs, product releases, and company presentations. Several companies and startups are based here. But Europe's longest building is also an attraction for tourists who want to dive into the past. But what exactly will happen with this open space of over 300 hectares? The Tempelhof airfield is already the biggest space for sports and leisure in Berlin. It also has an ecological purpose. Due to its particular climate, it works as the refrigerator of Berlin, bringing fresh air into the city. Pioneers of the field have vitalized the spot by implementing innovative ideas and concepts. So-called temporary uses have a long tradition in Berlin's urban development. They really inspire. As requested by citizens, a water basin will be constructed, an ecological necessity for the area's rainwater management. In the last few years, an intensive participatory process has taken place. Panel discussions, expert rounds, exhibitions and lectures, online dialogue and public events, and an ideation workshop. Visions have been transformed into precise plans for several phases of development. The big question, how can the area's unique quality be preserved? The solution? An open space, bigger than the Große Tiergarten, will be completely preserved for sports and leisure, for young and old. Housing associations will build affordable living space along the borders, connecting it to the nearby town districts. Tempelhof, Kreuzberg, Neukölln, 3 districts that will grow closer to each other. The necessary infrastructure, a school, a daycare center and playgrounds, are also planned. City housing that is also set in nature. The Central State Library will be a new center for education and culture in an extension of the airport building, which will be an international center for culture, the media, and the creative industries. As an exemplary piece of urban development in Europe, Tempelhof will again write history.
Der Flughafen Tegel wird eine ganz andere Zukunft
The future of Tegel Airport will be much different than that of former Tempelhof Airport. Here we will find research and development, but also production for the technologies of the future. This is where solutions will be found for the ever-changing and ever-growing city. Made in TXL. That is to be the seal of quality. New jobs will be created in an exciting blend of industry and science.
Tegel Airport in northwestern Berlin. Known around the world by its codename, TXL. Flights still operate, but a future town, the Urban Tech Republic, is already being planned here. The old traditions of Siemens, the Borsig factories, and AEG are still alive and well here. Today, still, the northwestern city districts have the highest numbers for industrial employment within Berlin. It's a unique chance for Berlin to position itself in the world market. An airport with an area of 500 hectares will be transformed. Together with Berlin citizens, a team of 6 international architects, town planners and landscape designers elaborated concepts and ideas. A fresh quarter with new apartments, flanked by a university, a scientific research center, and a production site. A smart city will be realized in Berlin, a growth industry. Limited resources and their efficient and responsible use are the big challenges for the future. Students, entrepreneurs, industrialists, and scientists will come together here. They can learn from each other and together create something new, simulating the city of the future. Their core considerations: energy, mobility, water, and recycling. With 140,000 students, Berlin possesses a highly qualified labor force. 40,000 startup companies were founded in Berlin in 2012. 800 companies could be moved to Berlin TXL. They'll discover something dramatic and conceptually new. Here, they can develop a space of the future. Berlin, a city with a future. We are convinced of Berlin's strength as a center of international knowledge and as the capital of Germany. We are developing a productive economy and preserving the city's social unity. Protecting the city's climate is fundamental, as is the efficient and sustainable handling of natural resources. We must prepare for the impact of demographic change. Our biggest trump card is Berlin's unique cultural landscape. There is hardly another city in the world that has been exposed to such frequent and fundamental transformation processes. From divided city to vibrant European center, Berlin has managed this transformation well.
Berlin kennt keinen Stillstand. Die Stadt verändert sich jeden
Berlin
Tag.
doesn't stand still. The city changes each and every day, and the Senate Department for Urban Development and the Environment plays a particular role in this process. We want to preserve the diversity and uniqueness of Berlin, while at the same time enabling new things to come about. Berliners must be involved. They want to have a say and play a role in shaping developments. Participation must be practiced on a daily basis. Creating the foundations for this new, changing Berlin, that is our job. For me, this means Berlin will keep building new jobs, good education, affordable housing. Berlin is building a future for everyone.
Citizens who participate actively in deciding how they want to live and work in their city in the future. In partnership with a visionary and foresighted administration which plans and turns these visions into real projects. Projects for the future of a city and for the people in it.